Thank you for tuning into Abundant Moments. Paul writes in Romans 3:23, "For we have all sinned and fall short of the glory of God." And we still continue to sin because we live in a sinful world with a sinful nature. And oftentimes we do things that we don't want to do, we thought we would never do, and vice versa. And Paul says this about himself. And he's the one that wrote the majority of the New Covenant, our New Testament, that we live our lives by. But sometimes we get into the habit of we look at somebody else's, what we think is sin, and we harp on that and we talk about that. And why we do that, I don't know. There are different reasons. One, to make us feel better, look better. Another reason, we just have a critical spirit. But we need to learn this. Paul said also to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling before the Lord. And sometimes we look at people and we think, okay, they drink, I don't drink, they're wrong. Well, no, the Bible doesn't say that you can't drink. It says not to be drunk. But as a matter of fact, the Bible talks more about gluttony than it does drunkenness. And how many times do we overeat? We do things that we shouldn't do that causes harm to our bodies, that causes hurt to other people. But yet oftentimes we want to look at somebody else and point our finger at them. I want to encourage each of us today. Let's give other people a break. Let's give ourselves a break. Let's work on our own selves and not talk about someone else if they do something that we think they shouldn't do or that we don't do, or vice versa. Let's just learn to love each other and allow God to do what He does, the Holy Spirit to lead each one of us and teach each one of us, and realize we all fall short. We all do things wrong. And sometimes we're pointing out somebody else's wrong that we think is wrong, and we have something even worse going on in our own life. And isn't that what Jesus said about judging? He said not to judge other people. He said, but first look at yourself and remove what's wrong with you before you even say anything about someone else. So let's do that today, and let's learn the lesson from Jesus, from Paul. And let's give others a break and not talk about them. But if they're doing something that you think is wrong, then pray for them. But don't point fingers. Thank you for tuning in.